Everyone thought she was just another broke girl in worn jeans and a thrifted hoodie, until the day she stood on the school stage, pulled out her phone, and called her driver to bring the Rolls-Royce around. What she said next left the entire room in stunned silence. Claire Donovan was used to private jets, chef-made breakfasts, and schools where tuition cost more than most people's mortgages. But none of it had ever impressed her, because behind the perfect makeup and last name, she was tired. Tired of people pretending to like her for her money, tired of fake friends and forced smiles. So when her father, real estate mogul Richard Donovan, decided to enroll her in a regular high school in a small town for character building, she made a quiet decision. No one would know who she was. No designer clothes, no last name, no car. Just Claire. She took the bus, packed peanut butter sandwiches, and used a prepaid flip phone. And it worked. At first. But high school wasn't kind to the girl with quiet eyes and second-hand shoes. She was ignored, laughed at, pushed aside in group projects. Teachers assumed she was lazy. Students called her charity case behind her back. And no one, not a single person, bothered to ask who she really was. Until one day, they pushed too far. Until one boy threw her lunch tray on the ground and said loud enough for the whole cafeteria to hear, "People like you don't belong here." Claire looked down at her spilled sandwich. Then she stood up, slowly. And everything changed. Claire bent down calmly, picked up the broken sandwich, and placed it gently back on the tray. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just turned to the boy, her voice clear and calm. "You think I don't belong here because I look poor?" she asked. The cafeteria fell silent. The boy snorted. "I think you don't belong here because this isn't a place for liars pretending to be something they're not." Claire's eyes didn't move from his. "You're right," she said. "I have been pretending." She reached into her backpack and pulled out her phone. Not the prepaid flip phone she always carried, but a sleek, latest model smartphone. The kind most students had only seen online. One swipe, one tap. "James," she said into the phone, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Can you bring the car around?" "No, not the SUV. The Rolls." Gasps. The boy stepped back, confused. What are you doing?" Claire took a deep breath and looked around the room. "Since we're all being honest now, let me go ahead and introduce myself properly. My name is Claire Donovan. My father owns Donovan Estates. You know the high-rises on River Street? The stadium? The new Performing Arts Center?" Mouths dropped. Whispers erupted. She stepped forward slowly. "I came here because I wanted to know what the world really looked like. I wanted real friends, real people, not ones who smile because of my bank account." Her gaze landed back on the boy who humiliated her. "But now I see. When people think you have nothing, they treat you like you are nothing." She looked at the rest of the students. "Maybe it's time you all ask yourselves what kind of person you are when no one's watching, and when no one has anything to give you." She turned, lifted her tray, and calmly walked out. Claire didn't cry as she walked through the halls. She didn't need to. Outside, the black Rolls-Royce had already pulled up. James, the family's longtime driver, stepped out and opened the door. But Claire paused, not getting in just yet. Behind her, students had started pouring out of the building, some watching from the doors, others from windows. Phones were out now, recording her. But she didn't care. For days they had laughed at her. Now they were speechless. The principal came rushing down the steps, red-faced and flustered. "Miss Donovan, I had no idea." Claire held up a hand. "You didn't care to ask." She turned back to the growing crowd. "Some of you laughed when I didn't have the right shoes. Some of you avoided me because I brought my lunch in a paper bag. and others sat by and said nothing while I was insulted like trash. The boy who had shoved her lunch tray earlier stood near the stairs, guilt carved into his face. Claire looked straight at him. I forgive you, but I hope you remember this moment. Because one day, you'll meet someone with nothing to offer, and how you treat them will reveal everything about you. Then she smiled, genuinely, gently, and added, Money doesn't make you valuable? Kindness does. She stepped into the car. As it pulled away, the silence she left behind said more than any insult they'd ever thrown at her. News of Claire's reveal spread like wildfire. By the next day, the school's atmosphere had completely shifted. Students whispered in hallways, teachers looked embarrassed, and the boy who humiliated her couldn't meet anyone's eyes. But Claire? She didn't return. Instead, she wrote a letter, one the principal was instructed to read aloud at the morning assembly. Her words were calm, but sharp enough to cut through every layer of pride in that room. You judged me before you knew me. You looked at my shoes, not my heart. My clothes, not my words. And while I came here to learn about others, I ended up learning the most about human nature. This experience hurt, but it also opened my eyes. Because there are millions of people out there who actually live this way, not for a lesson or a few weeks, but for life, and they deserve more than pity. They deserve dignity. I'm using what I've learned here to launch a new program at Donovan Estates. It will fund full scholarships for underprivileged students, provide school supplies, uniforms, transportation, and training for schools on kindness, empathy, and character. As for the friends I thought I'd make, maybe they'll come later when people learn to see past the surface. Until then, I'll keep being exactly who I am, with or without a last name that matters to anyone else. Claire never looked back. She returned to her private life, but not to the girl she used to be. She was different now, stronger, clearer, louder in all the quietest ways. And while most people quickly moved on, some didn't. Some started sitting beside the quiet kid at lunch. Some stopped laughing when someone wore the same jeans twice. Some remembered Claire Donovan, not as a billionaire's daughter, but as the girl who made an entire school question its heart. If this story moved you, share it. Because who we are when we think no one's watching is exactly who we've always been. Love.